Hey guys, Midway Piper here. I hope all is well. I sitting out here today, slightly different view. This is the side yard. My old garden is back that away, there, right over there. But as you can probably tell, it's gotten shaded out, so I don't use that garden anymore really for anything. It was there when we moved in. We moved in during the winter, so I started redoing it, thinking it was just neglected for years, which it probably was. But then the first couple of summers, I started to realize, yeah, this is just way too shaded to grow anything really well. So, yep. Anyways, housekeeping real quick. Scallion, the Savinelli 320 Foresta. Beautiful pipe. And in it, I have some Ahab's Comfort. So, came out here, started smoking my pipe, and I wasn't going to record a video today. I've been watching a lot of videos with the late, great Charlie Munger of a silent partner in Berkshire Hathaway success. Everybody always talks about Warren Buffett, and there's a lot of great takeaways from him as well. But right now, I'm more fixated on Charlie Munger. So I've been watching some videos, interviews with him and whatnot, and just been thinking about sort of my why for investing a little bit more, and some things that some values that I hold for investing. And I kind of just figured, I should probably just record this more so for almost like a journal entry for myself. But I figured I'd just sort of film it, and if anybody gets anything out of it, cool. So first things first, as I've mentioned in previous videos, one of my reasons for investing is I'm not going to have a pension. I don't suspect that Medicare, Social Security, I don't think those things will be anything of great significance when I reach retirement age. And I don't have a company match 401k. So, my future is greatly unplanned and unfinanced. And so, I want to make sure that I'm not strapped when I'm older, and either not able to work anymore, or finally just sick and tired of it. Now, it sort of leads to one of the sayings, the principles that Charlie Munger held to. One of those was to set your expectations low, and if something positive happens, then it's a good surprise, but don't expect it. Good point. Like I said, I don't expect Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. I don't expect it to be anything of great significance, if even in existence by the time I'm old enough to retire. If there is, great, cool. But again, I don't want to be dependent on something that might not be there. And the way I've chosen to do that is through investing in the stock market. But instead of chasing the next big stock, I want to be investing in companies that are going to pay some sort of dividend. Now, a lot of the big tech companies are what are known as growth dividend companies. So they do provide some sort of dividend. A lot of them, it's generally less than 0.5%. Nvidia, for example, currently pays about a penny per share. So again, nothing of significance at all. And that's why my portfolio isn't full of just that. But I also don't want a bunch of really strong paying dividend companies that have no growth potential either. There's a good chance that companies like Nvidia and Google and whatnot, Microsoft, might start paying out a better dividend. But you're getting sort of the best of both worlds. You're getting some growth from the company, hopefully some good growth, and you're also getting some dividends just for holding the stocks. Other companies, they provide a great dividend, but they're sort of at their peak. They don't know what to do with their cash, and so they pay out dividends. But you're not going to get much stock growth from them. So I have designed a portfolio that has a little bit of all of the above. As I've mentioned, I've got a couple of stocks that don't pay dividends, and that's from when I've sort of lost my why for investing, and I just sort of started chasing stocks. I still hold some Palantir stock, and I have made over 300% back on that stock. They don't pay a dividend, but I got in and rode that wave. And I'm just holding on to it because it's still a pretty good growth company. And there's certainly growth potential for that stock still, so I'm still holding on to it. And I bought Tesla on the dip when everyone hated Elon Musk for a minute. So I made back a pretty good percent on that as well so far. I hold Amazon stock. I bought a little bit of that years ago, and it has appreciated very nicely. Doesn't pay a dividend yet. I'm thinking there's a good chance they will at some point start to pay a measly dividend, but I believe they will eventually start to pay a dividend at some point. Right now they're in the big AI revolution, so I think they're using pretty much all their money for growth. But I hold that as well. But companies like Google, Microsoft, they pay pretty well. Good growth. Very small dividend, but again, a lot of growth potential. What do I want out of my portfolio is I want it to obviously grow in value, but I also want it to produce dividends to a degree that eventually that money can be used on a monthly basis. I've easily got another 30 years before I would even think about starting to take dividends. So in the meantime, all of my dividends get reinvested, and that continues to grow the value of the account. So that's great. And busting my ass right now trying to scrape up some extra money to throw into future investments. So I am not investing in hopes of early retirement or anything of that sort. That's not the realm that I'm looking for. Now, actually throwing money in the market is only part of it. The other part is working on your mental fortitude. And so what I mean by that is being able to accept the wins as well as the losses. So when your portfolio starts to grow and you seeing the daily wins on your portfolio is a great thing. But also when you start seeing some big losses, you need to be able to accept that and not freak out and sell out at a lower point, assuming the stock is a good value. And if it's not a good company, you shouldn't be invested in it to begin with. So recently I found it's an aggregate program. Essentially it's called Snowball Analytics, and you can put in your different portfolios and it'll give you a summary of everything. And so I plugged in all my accounts, and it tells you, the summary of your account and how much they're all valued at together and your total net worth on stocks. And that number is nice to see. But it also shows you on the day-to-day how much your portfolio goes up or down. And that's kind of scary. Hold on. And through the magic of the pause button, I'm back. So what I was saying with the aggregate program is you get to see the swings in your account on the day-to-day. And there's days your account shifts hundreds of dollars. And as you continue growing it, hopefully you'll start seeing swings of thousands of dollars. And a swing of, let's just say your account goes up $1,000 during the day. What a great feeling, right? You're $1,000 richer. Your net worth is up $1,000 more than it was when you woke up in the morning and you haven't done a damn thing. That's a great feeling. But then the next day, something happens. And maybe your account's down $2,000 from the time you woke up. Time you go to bed, you're $2,000 poorer than you were the day before, or when you woke up in the morning. And that sucks. That's hard. And essentially what I've done is just sort of, for me, it's just sort of a game. I've sort of gamified it. It's fun to watch. But I'm not looking to sell any of the stocks or anything like that. And so it doesn't really bother me on the day-to-day. In fact, when you see a stock down, it might even be a good buying opportunity if you have some cash sitting around. And so I think one of the CEOs that phrased it the best is actually Jeff Bezos. I'll talk more about him in just a second, but one of the things he said when people ask him about the growth in Amazon stock and what he thinks about it, and he said, I try not to think about it. If you take it too seriously, his stock is up 10%. You feel 10% smarter, 10% better, 10% richer. But when the stock's down 20%, you don't want to feel 20% poorer or 20% dumber. Be in it for the long haul. That makes a heck of a lot of sense, and it's one of the reasons that I prefer to be invested in some sort of dividend stock, because regardless of what that stock is doing, most likely, again, if it's a quality company and it takes a big nosedive, most likely it's going to go back up. The market is an emotional thing. Doesn't just because a stock drops a heck of a lot, it doesn't necessarily mean anything's wrong with the company. It means people are being emotional about the company. Great example of that would be recent example, United Healthcare. That stock was in the 600s, and between the CEO of one of their subsidiaries getting shot and killed in New York, and then the overall CEO of the company stepping down, and there being some questionable finances going on, practices, I mean. Company dropped down to around 300, dipped a little bit below 300 a couple of times lately. Did anything inherently change with the company? No, not really. Got people spooked, and the company took a big hit. I use that as a buying opportunity. I bought into United Healthcare. Now, I don't have crazy amounts of money. So when I say I bought in, I'm not saying like I bought a huge chunk of the company, but I bought some shares. And I expect in the next year or so, it's probably going to go back up to 400s, 500s maybe. That's great growth. But in the meantime, the company's paying a dividend, so they're paying me for holding their stock still. That's a great thing. I'm still getting some benefit from the company. And honestly, I've locked in a higher dividend yield for that, which is great. So those are just some of the things to think about. You don't want to feel super proud or super dumb. Kind of just gamify it and appreciate the highs and the lows. And when push comes to shove down the road, eventually I'll probably get into maybe some relatively safer stocks, but I'm not in anything that I think of as being particularly risky at the moment. Those are just some things that I sort of think about as I look at these stocks and see what's happening, and looking forward to my future. So I just wanted to talk about some of those things. Sort of make this as a video to remind myself if I start to lose my investing why, what I'm looking for, what I'm looking to do. I've said in previous videos, my goal is to create a nest egg that I could then pass down. I honestly don't want my son to know it's going to exist, hopefully. I want him to grow up and have a good work ethic and get a good job, make some money. And I don't want him to know that hopefully this nest egg will exist and that he won't hopefully have to worry about finances. And if he never starts taking on those dividends and they're just reinvesting for years and years and years and years, it's only going to grow the portfolio. Is that a bad thing? No. Is that a good way to create generational wealth? Yeah, it is. In case of emergency. All those kinds of things. There's no benefit in being poor. There's no benefit in living paycheck to paycheck. None at all. Money isn't evil. It allows you to be more of who you are. Now, one other thing, because I brought him up in this video, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, or this morning actually. Hitting all the headlines about Jeff Bezos getting married and his, what is it, like $40 million wedding or something ridiculous like that. And the number of articles being written about how pissed off people are about him doing that. And $40 million wedding, you could end poverty for a lot of people if you gave that $40 million away instead of spending it on a wedding. Yeah, you could. But guess what? He earned that money. He created Amazon. He created Blue Origin. He pretty much self-funds a rocket company, for God's sake. I mean, it's amazing. $40 million wedding is a drop in the hat for that man. It's nothing. It's pennies. But he didn't take $40 million and light it on fire. That $40 million wedding paid for a lot of goods and services. He paid a lot of businesses, companies, employees. Read an article this morning. I think he spent over $1 million in roses alone for the wedding. Cool. That money's going to people who own businesses, who work for businesses. Again, he's not lighting it on fire. And for those people that are benefiting from it, they are sure as heck glad that Jeff Bezos came along and got married. I understand the benefit of charity, but I also think about it like, what happens to lottery winners? Majority of lottery winners are poorer than they were before they won the lottery within about 5-10 years of winning the lottery, if that long even. They have no idea what to do with money other than spend it. And then what? It's gone. You could give money away. There's lots of great charitable causes. And it's a great thing to do. But if you just give away all that money to people, is that really going to help them in the long run? Depends. But to say that just giving that money away would end poverty, it's not true. I think it's just a harsh reality of how things are. So, anyways, just a little contrarian thought about that whole Jeff Bezos wedding thing. Yeah, that's it. This was, like I said, just mostly like a journal entry for myself, but figured I'd record it, and if you get anything out of it, cool. All right, that's it. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.